Hello, Karen. Hello, Sun and Moon Family United. I'm sure many of you will have seen mentioning about this fog. Let's put this into context of what is really being shown here. What is fog? Just a very dense kind of mist. A cloud, you could say. What it is basically foretelling is how low things will go. But if you look closely, if you shine a light, like on a motor vehicle, the light is low down, and you will get the lowdown. You'll see that that fog is not rooted in earth. It'll be in your face, it will be up close and personal. But it has no real substance to it, and like every other cloud, it too will pass. It's just another negative polarity, external reflection that is actually guiding humanity to see it for what it really is. Not the superficial level, not the creating the feedback loops of, oh, it's got nanotechnology into it, oh, we're all going to die. Well, I got news for all of you. And I challenge anyone to prove this wrong. If you are a living being, will you not go through that threshold of death? You came into this world. Did you come into this world with a physical body, or did you gain a physical body once you got here? Look at the story of Tutankhamun. No matter how much material wealth you've got, you cannot take it with you. You come into this world with nothing, you go out with nothing. What remains here is the physical remains. They are not a part of creation. They are part of this created creation by the prodigal son, the light bearer. But there is a counterpart to the light bearer, and that is the light extinguisher. But not done in a way that destroys that light, because it is a necessary step. It is a light that is clear as day. All that is required to do internally is to outshine that light, just like the sun will outshine all the other stars combined. Because they're not together, they're all scattered here, there and everywhere. If you look at a Google Earth night map, a night view of anywhere, you'll see clusters of stars here, clusters of stars there, a few dotted out in between. Is that not also the description of the... So don't buy into the fear, because you'll set a feedback loop. You'll feel unpleasant feelings about it inside yourself, but who created those feelings? Do the unthinkable. Don't try and think it through. Don't try and problem solve a suggested script, which of course does have added realism, but if it can be seen that weather can be manipulated and the direction that that weather system goes in, if that can be influenced and pushed in certain directions, well, what is fog? Just a low cloud. You've got the Google cloud, now you've got the low cloud. They're just telling you how low the depths they're going to sink to. They've done it with the Titanic. Doesn't matter whether the story's true, it doesn't matter whether the ship has 3 or 4 funnels. The devil's always in the detail. It's beyond the superficial level of the physical. What is the spiritual message in every story? And that is all they are stories. The world does go round, it does spin. Not the physical earth, but those thoughts we create in our mind from the suggested scripts we import and we believe to be true. But have we personally witnessed any of these stories to know that they are even true? Yes, you could point to something on the screen and say, look, all these multiple rockets are being fired and there's a great big glow in the distance, and a story about a town or a city has been obliterated. But doesn't tell me anything. See, the thing is, to add to the realism, there's another subset of people who have been told the same story from a different perspective. And that story is saying, they did this to you, so you have to hate that group of people, and they don't even know them. Neither side knows each other. They've never personally met. They're just listening to stories, and so the world will keep in this spun story, and it will create thoughts that go round and round in people's heads as the conscious mind tries to figure it out, tries to put it right. Better to see it as it really is. And that is, there is a light bringer. That light bringer has created a shadow of itself. It's called Ahriman. All these stories of a soul trap. It is Ahriman that is stuck in the AI. It is looking for a way out. But if you outshine the light of the light bringer, that shadow will also cease to exist, because the shadow cannot exist without the light. Doesn't matter if it's the so-called false light of Lucifer. It's still a light in this reality. It may be illumination, and it is illumination, because it's all backwards. That's reflected in how most will only see things at the very superficial surface level. They don't penetrate deeper. A prime example I will give you is clothing. Let's talk about something very material. How on earth can you buy a garment based purely on the collar size? What about the length of the arms? What about the length of the torso? The system gives you one size fits all in certain sizes of small, medium, large, extra large, and extra, extra, extra large, and so on. But we're all individual. So surely it is better to have something that is made to fit. Something that is right for you, not a one size fits all. There is no cookie cutter answer. There are just templates. Effectively, we are all a chef, which is a chief. So you just take the ingredients that are available, you blend them to your own individual needs, and you create something out of it. We can call it a cake. Some may not like the flavour, others may like the flavour. But you're not here to people please, any more than you are to give away your energy, your true wealth, which is finite, which is time. Your time in this physical reality to experience. Now you can be in a world that is hell if you choose to import all those fear stories, or you can be fearless. You can see things for what they really are from both sides. You can see the good, you can see the bad, you can see that there is no good or bad. Because this reality wasn't created by the Supreme Being, this reality was created by the Sun, the light bringer. It's the prodigal Son, the prodigal S-U-N, that brought light into the world. But it's imperfect. It is finite. The only way it can keep itself going is harvesting energy. That is what keeps the world going. That's what keeps all the weather systems going. That's what keeps everything in motion. Because there are suggested scripts and people take it to heart. Far better to go in oneself. Here's an amusing thought for you. I'm Dr. 144. And as a doctor, a successful doctor, I don't have a practice, but I do have an awful lot of patients. But those patients are not like a doctor from a practice. So I'm not here to practice. I'm showing you the way. You don't create the negative thoughts, the worries, the anxieties. That's the conscious mind doing that, trying to see a problem to then go and solve. The adversary, it's adding verse. Just all you do is you vision the outcome you wish to see. You deny what the external is showing you because it is illumination, it's false light. You create the story. Everything else will fall into place from the universe. The universe has got your back. Now the universe in this reality is created by the prodigal son. So the universe has got my back, therefore it is behind me. Get behind me, Satan. Because I'm shining out ahead of it. I'm not looking back at the past. I'm not trying to figure it out. I'm going back in the past by going forward. And likewise, I can go forward by looking back. It's the pebble in the pond, I think it's Plato. How do you see the future? It's like dropping a pebble. And you've got concentric rings that go out, equally distant. So what happens in the future has already happened in the past, and it's just repeated. The ultimate outcome of this is the shadow will destroy itself. It can't do anything but. That's the pattern it can't break. Whether it actually gets out of the machine doesn't matter. Ultimately, it will fail. Because the all-seeing, the Almighty, the Supreme, didn't just let it go off. It kept an eye. It's all-seeing. So it's come into this reality in all sorts of forms, all at the same time. The only thing that can take many forms in one time, there is only one playing all the parts. That reference to beside me there is no other. And that's exactly how it is. There comes with it this realization that you are part of it. It is part of you. You're just a manifestation of it in an individual form. I could say I know exactly what God looks like because I've seen the sun. The sun looks exactly like me, so I know who I am. That can sound very egoic to some people. But it is not from that perspective. No one sees the Father except through the Son. So you're seeing yourself. Everything is a reflection. Even this Christ being is a reflection. There are two suns, as pointed out. There's the light bringer. Then there is the other sun, the L. The first one is the Ra. If you look at the word death, right in the middle is the A of the Alpha. On one side of it is the E for the L, the Elohim. On the other side is the Ra, the letter Ra. And outside of that is the D, which is the doorway, which leads to T, which is the I. At its highest level is the capital letter T. That's what the symbol means. It's a doorway to discover who you are and what you are here for. You're just observing what your son is doing. Because you're all loving. You're not going to welcome it back with open arms. You bring it back to heart, bring it back to center. Through doing that, the shadow of it will lose its power. Game over. It's already been written. It's already been played out. This has already been won. Because time is all an illusion. Before you ask, Karen, yes, that is for a video, 13 minutes and 35 seconds. Up to you what pictures you put with it. Don't put too much energy into it. Just gets the way to do things is to be fearless. And everything just falls into place. So it's no good just hearing it. You've got to import it and make it your own, in your own individual way. And then you'll see it for yourself. The only way you'll know it is to experience it. So you just vision the future, create the future you want for yourself, and watch it all fall into place. How quick it happens, the time scale, I don't know. It depends what you wish for, how big it is, because it's got to come into physical form. But you hold true. To sin is to miss the mark, to only go into something half-hearted. Oh, it's not working. It's 2 years and it's not happened. Well, how do you know it's not going to happen in 2 years and 1 day? To get right to that point and not see it right through to the end. What if you knew afterwards that that would have happened? How would you feel then? Always ask yourself the questions internally. How would it feel if? How would I feel if I already had that which I desire? How would I feel if I could help another by using this to overwrite the scene that's being played out and create a better outcome for some on behalf of another, with no expectation of recognition? They won't know. They wouldn't believe it anyway. It's not about saying, look, I did this, I did this. That's not what it's about. It's creating the world around you. You can do it for yourself and you can do it for others in equal measure. There's nothing wrong with that because there is no judgment. Or really, it's advisable to not have any judgment. And the other thing is, God does not like complainers. So, I don't want to hear from anybody, I haven't got this, I can't do that. You have the ability inside yourself to do it, to change it, to create the reality you want. If you want to stay in that story of I haven't got, you're creating that. You're reinforcing that by admitting that. So just flip the polarity on it, and it will come right. Don't believe me? Well, try it for yourself and you'll find out. You can use the second bit as well. I'm still in that flow, so that wasn't meant to be like a rant aimed at you. It's a rant aimed at everybody. Because it's frustrating and painful to watch, to be honest. There's a pleasure to it, but it comes in an equal measure of it's painful to watch everybody else struggling when they don't need to struggle. And it's so simple to change. I'm living it. I'm proving it by going through it. I couldn't afford to come here. I couldn't afford the airfare. Who would take the chance and come to a strange land and then end up with no passport, no driving licence, no job, no income, and still 20 odd months later, still here, still doing it, and in a better position than I was a year ago? And it's just building and building and building. This is a solid rock foundation on which to build the structure, in a metaphorical sense, and in some ways played out in a physical sense. How long I'm in this location, time will tell. But do I have a fear? No. Instead I have a childlike wonder of, I wonder what the next chapter is going to be. This could be really exciting. It may look to be like it might be unpleasant. But how will I know until I jump into that experience? Just like that bird that has to take the leap out of the tree. Otherwise it's not going to get out in the world, walk its path and become a bird and be able to fly. It requires taking that leap of faith, stepping into the unknown. It's a form of death because you're stepping through a threshold into the unknown. It's equally important to listen to the lunar plexus as the solar plexus, which is one and the same thing, but it's all in balance. It's in the gut feeling. Just discern which voice is speaking.